Every now and then a guitar comes along that piques my interest. I haven't a clue what kind of guitar this is, but it's old. The nuts being replaced with a one that's far too wide for it. 0 fret. It's been played over the years, not awfully, but it's also had its neck. The neck obviously came off at one stage, so somebody's drilled some holes halfway through it, put some brass screws in it. But the paint job is original. I don't know what it is. The fact that these are screwed on with little tiny screws makes me think it's 50s, a 50s guitar. Maybe not 60s. That is sitting there, and the tailpiece is coming off. I think that's a wooden knob, isn't it? Now, anybody have any ideas what this make of guitar is? I'm going to go inside her as well to let you see, but I just find this kind of guitar fascinating. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a mystery. The neck, I think, is okay, but we'll check that later. I'm not sure about those, but we'll see. And the tuners, we'll all look at it later on. But let's go inside the guitar and see if it has any clues. I hear some rattling noises. It's a plectrum of some sort. It's a plectrum that's gone inside, but let's go inside. Now, this is ancient, isn't it? That's the top. Look at the piles of dust and dirt on it. There's nothing. It's going to have to be vacuumed and cleaned. And the dirt in it is amazing. And there's no clues there that I see so far. Let's come out and go in again. Anything on the neck that might give us a clue? Nothing. There's no truss rod on it either. There's nothing there. There's that plectrum that I'll pick out later on. And there's something, dust. Hopefully it's not a mouse, but dust. There's not a clue of what it is. What is that square thing? Let me just see what that square thing. It's floating around too, whatever that square thing is, and I'll pull it out and I'll video it. Bit of plastic. There's not a clue. So if anybody knows what this is or what make it is, do give me a nod. Now here's a couple of other little clues. It's obviously had some sort of pickup on it. A little pickup screwed to the end thing, and it would be on a cable separately. And I think that's all the clues I can give you. There's nothing there. I'm tempted to see, but I think that paint's been there from original, so taking that off is not going to tell us anything. And I can't see anything in there that even hints at a name. But what is it? Anybody? Anybody? The other clue is the sound hole's very small. Let's have a look at the body now. Is the body sunk? Let's look at the neck and the body. Let's just look at it from this point of view. And the body has sunk a little bit. You see the little gap there? Sunk a little bit. So we're not going to get great playability out of it, but I'd love to know what make it is or where is it from. I think it's 50s. Let me know. Here's what came out of it. A chip, plastic chip, and the letter 3, plastic letter 3 from a child. So there's nothing exciting. Does it say anything exciting in the back of that? No. Or is that, I don't know. No, nothing. So there we go. Now I'm confused. It says on this, made in, is that in? Male, M-A-L, M-A-D-E. Does look like a F or just about to start cleaning this and move that wire out of the way. And I noticed on the back, you see the little dots there in the middle? That's woodworm. So I've notified the owner that it has woodworm and to check where he had it stored, just in case it's red. It's hard to tell with woodworm whether it's fresh or old or new, but it'll have to be treated for woodworm. So I'm just going to clean it now a bit. As you can see, it's been a few years since this was cleaned. It's been in storage. There's another little cut there which I'm now suspicious of what might be woodworm too. But there's nothing on the front that says woodworm. There is a tiny hole there, but I don't think that's in it caused by woodworm. And there's the owner just texting me back.
From Michael. Cheekers, it was in a spare room resting against a wall. Thanks, Austin. I'll check. Hope it doesn't go for your wooden leg, and apologies for bringing it into your home.
Hey Siri, reply.
What do you want to say to Michael Heron?
It could be dead, old woodworm, so don't worry about it. I'm cleaning it and I'm going to treat it as well. So you can't give back a guitar that's got woodworm in it without treating it, can you? There you are, you're watching live as it happens. I'm going to take that board off too, because I need to see underneath it. And I cannot find this guitar on the internet. The head stock, some people are saying it's 1925, and others are saying it could be 1950 and 40 and things like that. But this metallized finish throws me off, because I don't know whether they had that metallized finished in the in that era. So I'm going to take that off and we'll see what lies beneath, because what lies beneath will display the real color of what this used to look like. Can I take it off? Yes, I can. Is it just 2 screws on it, or is somebody... Oh, right, okay. Now, you don't want to damage it. I don't mind the screws being damaged, but I can replace them and you wouldn't know the difference. But I do want to make sure that the pick guard is not damaged by me taking off the screws. They're the old slot head screwdriver screws, and this screwdriver is the perfect size for it. And there you go. There's one. Look at the tiniest of that screw. Okay, let's just see what we got here. Have we got enough? I think we might have. The area around this has been damaged a little bit, so that makes it even more risky taking the screw off. Yeah. So it is. Alright, okay, let's try another screwdriver. Yes, it's moving. Yeah. Electrical screwdriver did the job. Tiny. Let's see what the color's like beneath it. It hasn't really changed that much. It's maybe a little bit more golden. Yeah, can you see the difference there? It's a little bit more golden. It's lost its gold effect over the years. So there's definitely a golden sheen there. But what are these holes here? These are the things that interest me, because if you put that back on the way it came off, that way and that way, it doesn't quite fit in around the stakes. So is that woodworm? I think it might be woodworm. In this instance, I think it might be woodworm. Let me just look. I have a pin here. They look like perfectly round holes, although they're not going anywhere. Usually woodworm, well, that one's going somewhere. Woodworm would go right through at some stage. Might be going through. See that woodworm? I got a feeling it looks old woodworm, which is I said to the gentleman. So we'll have a look and see. If he comes back and tells me there's no sign of woodworm in the room where it's stored, that'll be even better. But can you see the gold sheen? Just a little bit more gold around where the pickguard was. Even if he does come back to me and tell me there's no sign of woodworm in the room where it was stored, I'll still treat it for woodworm. Woodworm used to be a killer in the olden days. You found out you had woodworm in the house and it almost condemned your house to being destroyed, because in the old Victorian houses, when woodworm got in there, it was they didn't have the chemicals to get rid of them in those days, so it was like a condemned to death with woodworm. So in this instance, and in these days, it's not like that, I'm glad to say, because we got all sorts of lovely jubbly chemicals. Look how much dirt's on that. Let me just do that again. I took my bin out. When I say I took my bin out, I mean I took it out and got rid of it from the lounge, because I sort of live in this area as well as where I work, and it's a little bit less convenient that I don't have a place to throw my rubbish, but it's awful much nicer not to have to do that and have a bin in your lounge which has Coke tins in it and everything in it. So it might be lazy having a bin, but it's disgusting at times. Doesn't smell or anything like that. I've never let it last that long, but who else has a big bin in their lounge? That's just dirt coming off that. The guitar itself is not coming away. It's pretty good. All over, it's pretty good. But it does need a good clean. Maybe it doesn't seem like it's a cigarette club type guitar, you know, where you get it in cigarette ash trays and all sorts of things. I think it's somebody's house and been in there for years, so it's not what you call a professional guitar that's been worked in the clubs. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to repaint it or respray it or anything like that there. I might take a little bit of polish to there to get rid of the scrapes, but what I will do is I'll put a coat of clear varnish on it to stop that happening anymore, because I like those scrapes and the aspects, and really it's going to a household where the gentleman's just going to sit and play it, and I think it's something to do with the grandfather or something like that. I don't know, I can't remember. He did say to me, but there were about 6 people coming to my door. Now what would be? I wish I could find out more about this guitar, but I did a lot of search of the internet, and I'm not going to give up doing a search yet. Someone suggested that that's hammerite. Well, it's quite possible it could be, but I'm convinced that this is the original paint with the guitar, this color. And if it's 1930s or 40s, it's an early metallized version of Hammerite. But I would love to know what it is, especially now that I've seen the golden color there. Because it would be gold guitar then. So let's just see what we can do with it. Right. Do I want to take the neck off? I don't think I do. I think the neck can survive that long. And that looks like brass screws that were put in there a long time ago, so I'm tempted to leave it alone. And the neck is, well, there's enough room there that I don't have to rethink about setting the neck again. Although there's a pretty big gap in the middle. It's a pity there's no truss rod. No, there is no truss rod. It's a pity because there's a big underbow there. And I'll show you how big in a second from above. You can get your screwdriver into it, and I don't know whether you can see the screwdriver tip coming through the other side. You can, yeah. That's how big it is underbow. So the best we're going to get with this, unless there's a hidden truss rod somewhere, is a good playable guitar up here. Because with no truss rod and the guitar like that, we have no adjustments, we have no play in it. Now, I could put heat and stress on it and try to bend it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The guitar will play as much as the person needs to play in this instance, and it will look good even if it's a wall hanger. So I'm not going to go to the effect of trying to stretch it or bend it, because I know that I'm pretty sure that nobody in the house has played guitar for a long time, and there's a young fellow who's learning guitar, so I don't think this is going to be needed to be played like a professional. But as long as we get the first 5 frets going nicely, that's all we need to worry about. Look how messy my damn bench is with all the tools. I'll pause now and see what I can do there. Nothing exciting going to happen here, but I put some white spirit down the holes. It doesn't kill woodworm, white spirit, but woodworm obviously don't like it. So if there are any woodwormies in there, they'll climb out and want to go somewhere else. But I don't think we're going to see anything. I think this is too old to see anything. And we'll let that sit, and I'll come back to you if there's any excitement. Well, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own 2 eyes. A little woodworm came running up there and right up the top, and look, there he is coming back again. Look, there he is. He wants to get back into that hole. Oh, no. I killed him. Dead. He's dead. Now, just in case, the next step for me would be to put this in a black bin bag and tie it up tight until the woodworm killer arrives. And then when the woodworm killer arrives, I'll spray it and do it all outside. So that's the next step. Right, this is all very delicate. Right on my bench with this guitar that's supposed to have woodworm in it. It may not have any woodworm in it, but I've wrapped it up in black plastic, and just to take no chances, because I don't want it getting into any clients' guitars. So, but I don't think there's any woodworm alive in it. I think the person who left this with me would have said to me anyway, had it been he'd have found any traces of woodworm in his house, if I let him know right away. Now, one of the things I don't have is a vacuum cleaner that actually can go, with the hose vacuum cleaner, you can get inside it. So the best I'm going to do is do a little feather duster stuff. What I'm going to do now is I bought some woodworm treatment. Right, woodworm treatment. I give that 10 minutes, then I'll come out and dry it the best I can, and then we'll get the guitar back to being a guitar. That looks like it was a bit wobbly. Oh, yeah, I would imagine it was a bit wobbly when I was doing that. Sorry, but you're sitting on the decking of my, this is 10 minutes later by the way, you're sitting on the decking of my mobile home, and not much more I can do about that. So hopefully it wasn't too shaky. Hopefully you haven't developed the ADHD or PDST or choo, whatever it's called these days that we're supposed to all have. I wonder what that guitar looked like when it was really gold. It looks beige now, but you remember it was gold at one stage. And I can't get my hand in to dry there, so I'm just going to let it soak. And that's it. It's coming back in with me now. And then we'll work on it and get it back to being a guitar. Okay. That's it. All right. Goodbye. Come back in now. Well, I still argue with myself whether you want to see me cleaning guitars or not. It's a pretty boring thing, so I suppose what the best thing to do is just to do it and then speed through it. Right, black. Let me just see what happens when I put some black on that. Will it? I got a feeling it will cover it up, but we'll see. Yeah, I got a feeling that 2 or 3 times over with the dye will change that. And okay, that's going to be it for the moment. Oh, I nearly knocked over the back. Wouldn't that be lovely if I knocked that over? Right. I'm going to have to pause till that's dry. So I'm going to pause with my dirty black fingers. There is an argument to be made to wear glasses. Because look at this, what I'm seeing now, which I didn't see previously. The neck is riddled with woodworm. There's holes there, there, and there. There's a couple of holes here. Could be woodworm, but I'm not sure. I can't quite turn it round yet because it's still wet there. But if it's riddled with worms there, it's going to be riddled with worms underneath. I can sort of spin it and hold it off the table. So it's more or less just on that side of the neck. Now, just to be on the safe side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Woodworm and I'm going to dip them into the hole just in case. I would like to, now that I've got it, turn it round, but I'm... Be patient, Austin? Yeah, do I have to be patient? Yeah, I think I have to be patient, haven't I? Only going to take another little while because that'll be dry as a bone, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, I'm going to turn this round flat because it's dried a little bit. And I'm going to look at this because there's a hole there that the liquid didn't get into, and there's a hole there that the liquid may not have got into, but I think I did put it in it. Those brushes are all going to get thrown out, and that's going to get thrown out. So pause. Thank you. Bye-bye. Right, we've got to get a move on here and get some of these things done, but we're moving on. That's the neck. You see little speckles in the neck? I quite like them. That's been oiled, and that's not damp. That's just the coloration of the wood. I still have not made my decision there. I have polished up this, and it looks quite nice. This is the original, and I filled in the holes at the end so it'll screw back on without falling off. This, I've cleaned it up. I do believe there might have been white in the edges of it, but I can't think of a way to put white in there without screwing it up. But I'm going to do something naughty, I think. It was positioned like that. Let me just show you. It was positioned, let me make sure I get it in the right place. It was positioned there. And I think it looks ugly there. So I'm going to take the executive decision and put it there and fill in the hole there. Just make sure that's exactly right because it's perfect size, and fill in the hole. Now I wouldn't normally do that with an older guitar, but this is old and ancient and nice, but it's valueless. So I'm going to make it look better so the person will play it. But it has... I thought I heard a rattle when I did that, because that's a good way to tell if you've got any loose truss things in there. So the way I'm going to leave that neck is the way it is. This, I'd like to put a pickup on there, but no point. So what I'm going to finish off now is not that end, but that end. I'm going to do that now. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some lacquer. I'm going to put some lacquer on this. Okay, so I pause and get the lacquer ready. Now, this is Wood Extra Tough Interior Varnish Quick Drying Water-Based Polyurethane for all hard and soft woods. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? You can't see it because I'm off the thing. I'm going to take some off the neck with a tissue. And it's still enough on it. Believe it or not, the tissue doesn't seem to affect it too much. But you'll see that later whenever I go to show you it. So I'll let it sit and dry now, and then put a second coat on, touch up the black again, and then come back and let you see it. Alright, since you guys have been gone, I've done a couple of little things. I put that on, minor thing. I've oiled the frets. I've used Crimson High Finish guitar to give it a bit more depth, because I felt it was a little bit shallow looking in the colour. And I've put on, which I'm very pleased about, I put on the tuners, because if you notice, the tuners were solid brass and they cleaned up beautifully, really nicely on both sides. One little disappointment is that whoever put those tuners on drilled the holes in a very bad place, so those are crooked. But as you can see, they're brass tuners, well, mostly brass. So when I put the strings on and have the strings tuned, and I cleaned up in there, those are brass as well. I'm going to coat it with a metal lacquer to make it last a little longer. And as you can see, the body's been done up and it's looking much better. You can, if you look closely, you'll see those holes. I filled them in, but I used a little bit of gold paint to hide them. And I'm going to do the same there, because I did move that. I'm tempted to, because there's a cavity around there, I'm tempted to fill that cavity in with gold nail varnish. Put it on, fill up that thing in there with gold, and then use the ultraviolet light to harden it after I've cleaned it, if it'll work. But I'm going to try that anyway and see, but I'm not, just a second. What I'm going to do now is put on this, which polished up nicely, as you see. Well, you should be thanking me, saving you watching that. That was a pain. I had to put 2 strings on to get them in the right place. It was way too far over. Now if you look at that, you'll see how far over I've had to move this. There's the stud for your belt, and you can actually see the screw hole, so it's almost 1/4 inch I've had to move it that way. And there could be several reasons for that over the years. The neck could have gone like that, but I'm not leaning that direction. I'm sort of leaning the direction that this is not the quality guitar which we had hoped it would be. We thought maybe a Hofner or no, not a Honor, but a Hofner. But I don't think they would. There's a few things about it that I'm not happy about quality wise. For example, that there being, the holes being screwed way out of sync, you know what I mean, it's almost off the edge there. And this being out of place just doesn't strike me as something that Hofner would do. So what I'm going to do now anyway is I'm going to loosen them off that I've got it in the right place. This has to be filed down because I couldn't find one that I liked. So is it a good quality guitar, or is it a knockoff of a good quality guitar? It has some redeeming features, but it also has those issues. Now this was crooked as well. This wasn't put on properly. It was put on at an angle, and this wasn't matching up to the hole. And that's from the factory. So that from the factory, unless the neck's moved, and that being off, the nut not being drilled properly, make me think that it may be a a copy of a Horner or a Hofner, or there's another German make that I can't think of. But what I got to do now is think about this. What am I going to do with this? And I'm sorely tempted just to fill it in. Yeah, I think I'm just going to fill it in and maybe do something. I'm just going to stuff it full of fillers and come back to you when it's ready to dry out. I'm thinking of putting maybe something like there in a gold stripe, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot to press the button. What I did is I put gold paint in the crack in there, and I took it away with my finger, and I forgot to press the button to let you see what I did. Hey, you. Hey, stop chasing things. But I was just about to go and wash this away. Tempted to try to something up the top. You know, you get away. I don't know whether I can get away with this or not, you know. Just a little pattern or something to throw it out. I don't know. If it's crap, I'll take it away. What does that mean to anybody? Does that mean anything to anybody? I'm going to let that sit there. Right, okay. What does that look like? It looks alright. Let me get a cotton bud to see if I can clean. There's a damn bit of damage there. But that does it okay. There's a bit of damage in there and the gold paint got in there, so that's... Would you stop it? You're being such a pain. Stop it. It's not yours to play with. My glasses. What a pain. She can be. Okay, that'll clean up. Right, so that's okay, isn't it? It's a little touch of something. I don't know. Might actually even try indelible marker in there, and the screw as well, just to give the screw, and then take it off again. Right, that's okay. Listen, it's an ancient guitar, and I'm just doing it up, and I'm actually spending too much time on it. I filled that up with wood glue. I still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do, but that's the first layer. There's going to have to be another layer. I don't like the idea of black, so what I might do is when I filled it up close to it, I'll scrape some rosewood powder, mix it up in super glue and put it in there and see if we can match it up in some way. In the meantime, I got to clean this up because I put far too much gold paint in. So I don't know what I was doing there when I put so much gold paint in. Oh, and I'll clean that up and come back. Now it's time to bring this one down. As you can see, I decided just to go with fillers and bring it down to the wood and then stain everything. Yeah, still going to need some more fillers. Keeps sinking down lower and lower. So I'll put some more fillers in it and then try again tomorrow. Okay, that's it as level as I'm going to get it. I'm sure it could get even more level. But now what am I going to do with it? I have choices. I have choices. I could take the frets off, put a little bit of rosewood in there, but it'll never match up to those older rosewood stains no matter what I do, and I don't want to take the frets off. I'm not going to take the frets off. I could stain it, which I have here, various stains, different colors, but it's never going to match. It's never going to match. I'm not that good a person to be able to match it, because if you look closely you'll see now that it's drying off there's bits of black and but I'm going to try to match it, but I got a feeling at the end of the day what's going to happen is I'm going to paint it black. Because I just spilt the mahogany. Oh, you're an idiot, Austin. God, I just spilt the mahogany colour all over the bench. Egypt. You can't see it. Oh, you will see it in a second. Idiot. I need to get this closed up because I knocked it over with my hand. I knew I shouldn't have started this. I knew I shouldn't have got up out of bed this morning. Right. There, go. And each one of these will have to be cleaned off because there's... What in Egypt? And they say, no, you're in Egypt. You're in Egypt, Father Ted. These ones here didn't get annoyed. They didn't get touched. Believe it or not, that's supposed to be white ash. Anyway. Fortunately, and I'll show you what I mean by fortunately, I keep that out. I'll show you what I mean. This here is the bed sheets, the paper bed sheets that you use for patients in the hospital when they come in to get checked or anything, and the top layer is plastic, so it wipes off pretty well. I thought I was all set, all organized. Right, I'm going to pause and then get back to this. Let's get back to this, you idiot. See, warts and all, what I'm hoping to do is get the dots to the base colour. What is this? This is teak. Why did I pull out teak? English walnut. Well, let's try an experiment. Let's look what English walnut does for this, for the thing, because I don't think this is going to work. I'm very negative. Right. About the whole thing, aren't I? I should be more positive, shouldn't I? This is going to work. This is going to work. This is going to work. Doesn't look any difference from the antique oak, except for it's a bit darker. I think I'm wasting my time. Just paint it black. I see a red fret and I want it painted black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black. No, I am not confident that this is going to work at all. No, because obviously the fret around it is getting darker and I'm not catching up. Of course it's damp, I know it's still damp, but no, it's going to be black. It's going to be painted black. I've made my final decision. I'm going to paint it black, and I'm going to paint it black right now because it's a water-based black. And Had this been a guitar that goes on show or something like that, I would have done the cut out the fret. Actually, you could have cut a part of that away and put it up there, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. This is going to be for a child to learn on. So even though it's a nice older guitar, so what I'm going to do is oil the whole thing now with linseed oil, and then I'll clean that off and paint it black. But I'm doing the not linseed oil, lemon oil first. And then I'll do that fret black separately and let it dry, see what it looks like. I'll put a fairly thick layer of black on. That'll hide a few of the little bumps as well. But I'm a failure. I'm a failure. Okay, where's the black? I'm going to pause now and go get the black paint. Told you I shouldn't have got up this morning. Brand new tin of black paint. Must have been sitting on the shelves for years. And I've been mixing out that for 25 minutes. I can't be bothered doing that anymore. So maybe another time I might spend more time. I'll get a different tin of black. As the more eagle-eyed amongst you will spot, this is where the pickup was. At some stage they had carved in a little bit of the fretboard, and there's holes, so I filled that. So I'm going to paint that black, and when that dries I'll match it there, and then it'll look like it maybe look like it was deliberate. Okay, bye. Boy, maybe. Alright, that's the bridge on, but it's not in position yet. As you might notice, I had to add a little bit to the bridge to make it the right height to get the strings to work. Don't forget there's no truss rods, so there's an underbow in it that I can't correct. So I'm going to tune this and try to find the right place for the bridge. Then I'm going to put some double-sided sellotape on the bottom of it and keep it there. Now I'm going to tune this up on my knee and play a couple of chords for you. I think it'll sound okay. I got a feeling it's a fairly nice, it'll be a nice guitar when it's all tuned up. So I'll do that right this moment. Well, there you are. She's going home to her daddy, and she's looking much better than when she came, and she's much healthier than when she came. It's a hitchy guitar, and it plays nicely. It'll do for a learner. Not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it is a Honor, but it's a kind of 50s, 60s guitar that Marty Robbins used to play. I told Mary about her, told her about our great sin. Mary cried and forgave me. Mary took me back again. Said if I wanted my freedom, I could be free evermore. But I don't want to think, I don't want to see Mary cry anymore. Oh, devil woman. And that's where I'm going to stop, because I am not a guitar player and I'm not a singer, and I could never reach that note. Marty Robbins was the greatest. It's going back to its daddy now. Say goodbye to the guitar. Bye-bye.